This is ZS6STN. A very good morning to everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Bulletin this Sunday, the 22nd of March. You're listening to the club station of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club, ZS6STN, which is operated today from the shack of Stuart, ZR1 Whiskey Tango in George, Western Cape. It's a beautiful, clear, blue sky day here in George, with a temperature of 17.5 degrees C and 21 degrees C in the shack. The Club Bulletin is broadcast every Sunday at 8:45 local time on the following frequencies: 145.700 megahertz FM 2-meter band, 7.115 megahertz lower side band in the 40-meter band, today via the relay from the shack of Null, ZR6 Delta X-ray. And we have Echolink and ZS6STN-L, All-Star nodes and the various repeaters linked via All-Star. This bulletin is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Sandton Amateur Radio Club, ZS6STN's YouTube page. In the bulletin today, we start with the ZARL General News, followed by club birthdays and club news, the special topic of interest, and finally general call-ins and swap shop on 40 meters, Echolink, All-Star nodes, and 2 meters. Right, we start with the South African Radio League news for Sunday, the 22nd of March. Good morning and welcome to the weekly news bulletin of the South African Radio League, read by Stuart, 01WT. In the news today, the 2026 SARL National Convention, the SARL Technical Symposium, and contest news. Stay tuned for more information on these and other interesting news items. The registration for the 2026 SARL National Convention has been open for quite some time. Have you registered? Registration is required for attending the event in person or for attending the AGM on the virtual platform. Visit the SARL website and click on AGM to get the registration form. The 2026 SARL National Convention Bulletin and the electronic proxy form will be available on Thursday, the 2nd of April 2026. The SARL Secretary received 8 nominations to serve on council. There are 5 vacancies. In terms of Rule 16.6, members of council shall be elected by ordinary members of the League entitled to vote. Such election shall be conducted before the AGM by electronic means. The online voting platform will open on Thursday, the 2nd of April and close at midnight on Friday, the 24th of April 2026. More information will be available next Sunday. The Port Elizabeth Amateur Radio Society has arranged the weekend at the Willows Resort and Conference Centre. There will be a welcoming function on Friday evening. The AGM and the Partners Program to SAN CCOP, followed by the awards dinner on Saturday. Meridian Wine Merchants and Fitch and Leeds will be sponsoring the wine and gin and tonic. Also arrange your accommodation in PE for the weekend of the 1st to the 3rd of May. See you in the friendly city for the National Convention. Pico Balloon News. ZS1 AFB-1, currently the sole South African Pico balloon still aloft, is traversing the mid-Atlantic en route to South Africa, cruising at an altitude of 12.78 kilometers and at a ground speed of 85 kilometers per hour. It should reach its 4th circumnavigation of the Earth by Sunday, today, and it has covered 161,000 kilometers over 72 days. In fact, it did complete it yesterday. It arrived late afternoon, but I haven't heard from it this morning. So we're still waiting. Right, moving on to 9J2 EME expedition, de-expedition to Zambia. I presume that's the Earth bounce. Very interesting. From the 28th of March to the 1st of April, Ripke's EMET of Bernie, ZS4TX, John ZS6JON, and Lynn's BA3CMC plan to be active from the grid block KH22 in Zambia with the call sign 9J2EME. Paul, ZS6NK, had to cancel because of medical reasons. Activity is planned on the 6 and 2 meters and 70 and 23 SEMs using Q65, JT65 and CW upon request. We'll be in the HB9Q and N0UK loggers. Previous African expeditions by members of this group include operations from Z2, 3DA0, D2, A2, V5, ZS, and 7P. Satellite operations, Oscar 100 SAT rover station will be part of the equipment to workstations that missed the previous 9J activations. RS-44 will also be monitored during passes that do not overlap with EME activity. TEP tests on 2 meters and 70 centimeters will also take place at fixed times during the operation. QSL via PA3CMC. Moving on to the SARL Technical Symposium. Save the date for the 11th of April for the SARL Technical Symposium, which will be presented virtually on the AMSAT SA video conference platform and simulcast on Oscar 100. The symposium will run from 1000 to 1600 CAT. Free registration is now open to obtain the link to join the symposium. The full program and the registration link are published on www.amsatsa.za and mysarl.org.za. You are listening to the news broadcast by the South African Radio League. Club news. Field day is behind us, and as is the new 20-meter club contest that took place yesterday. So now it's time for the March Power Hour Tech Talk. At 1900 hours Central African time, this coming Wednesday evening, the 25th of March, our special guests, Keegan ZU6KEA and Albert ZS6AHY, will take us deep into the realm of digital mobile radio, or DMR. If you've ever wondered what all the DMR buzz is about, time slots to talk groups, this is your chance to discover how it all fits together and what you can achieve with DMR in your shack or on the road. Whether you're brand new to DMR or already experimenting, this session will give you fresh insights, practical understanding, and a glimpse of what's possible when you unlock the power of DMR. Everyone is welcome, and this is your personal invitation. Mark your diary and set a reminder to join the conversation on Wednesday the 25th of March, 1900 hours, to learn something new or to share your experience. Grab a pen, as here come the Zoom login details. The broadcast will also be relayed on 145.700 megahertz repeater and Echolink ZS6STN-R, and of course the All-Star linked nodes. The Zoom login details are meeting ID 853-0134-3276, and the passcode is 304951. Please spread the word and join the Power Hour Tech Talk this coming Wednesday evening, the 25th of March, 1900 hours. Contest news. The 2026 CQ Worldwide WPX SSB contest runs from 01 UTC on Saturday the 28th of March to 23:59:59 UTC on Sunday the 29th of March, with SSB activity on 160, 80, 40, 20, 15 and 10 meters. The aim of the contest is for amateurs worldwide to contact as many amateurs and prefixes as possible during the contest period. The exchange is an RS report plus a progressive contact serial number starting with 001 for the first contact. Note, multi-2, multi-unlimited and multi-distributed entrants use separate serial number sequences on each band. Get all the rules at cqwpx.com/rules. The Africa All-Mode International DX contest runs from 1200 UTC on Saturday the 20th of March to 1200 UTC on Sunday the 29th of March. Both single and multi-operator stations may operate for the entire 24-hour period. The objective of this all-mode contest is to stimulate contesting from Africa. All participating stations worldwide may work any country during the contest period. African DXCC entities are defined as those valid per the ARRL DXCC AF listing, published at the time of the contest. The contest is CW and SSB activity on 160, 80, 40, 20, 15 and 10 meters. The exchange is your RS or RST report followed by an incremental serial number commencing from 001. Visit the 2026 contest manual for the rules. 15 logs were received for the first leg of the SARL-YL QSO party held on Saturday the 7th of March. First was Esme ZS3EL with 147 points. Second was Sonia DeVet ZS3SW with 124 points. And third was Gwen Mulman ZS6GWN with 102 points. The full set of results can be found in HF Happenings 1189. Moving to the propagation report, Hannes Kutsia ZS6BZB reports that the solar activity is expected to be at moderate levels during the week. There are currently 6 sunspot regions with simple to slightly complex magnetic configurations visible. There is a high probability for C-class and a moderate probability for M-class solar flares. If you want to do your own frequency predictions, the expected effective sunspot number for the week will be around 80. The 30 to 10 meter bands may provide some good DX fun, especially in the late afternoons. Please visit the websites spaceweather.sansa.org.za for further information. Right, a diary of upcoming events. 22 March is the World Water Day. 23rd of March is the World Meteorological Day. 27th of March, the provincial schools close. 28th and 29th of March, the CWWWPX SSB contest and the Africa All-Mode International DX contest. 2nd to the 5th of April is the Sandton Cosmos Festival. 2nd of April is the 2026 National Convention booklet made available and the SARL 80-meter QSO party. 3rd of April, Good Friday. 4th of April, the Pretoria boot sale and the SARL QRP contest. 5th of April is Easter Monday, and the 11th of April is the SARL Technical Symposium for the Africa FT4 contest. You have listened to a news bulletin written by Hannes Enslin, ZS6JDE, proofread by Dave Rees, ZS1DFR, and read by Stuart, ZR1WT. Stay tuned for ZS6STN Club News. Right, this is the Sandton Amateur Radio Club News. Let's start with some birthdays. Last week we had ZR6AQV, which is Alan Rigard on the 16th. And then, I don't think the call sign's been allocated, it's Nestor Kalambe on the 17th. And then ZS6DDK is Daniel de Kock on the 18th. And then ZS6LUK is Luke Strigonal on the 19th. Hope you had great birthdays. Right, coming up this week is ZR6GOU, which is Timothy Gordon on the 23rd of March. ZS6EWT, which is David Newton on the 24th. ZS6BKB, Brent Baker on the 26th. ZS5JC, which is Jan Kutsia on the 26th. ZS6XY is Mark Feldman on the 27th, and ZS6YIV, Louis Joffe on the 27th. Congratulations, and hope you had a great day, or will be having a great day on your birthday next week. In case you didn't know, last weekend marked the SARL National Field Day, and the Sandton Club delivered a truly outstanding performance. These efforts are beautifully captured in the ZS6STN Field Day video, available at YouTube/@ZS6STN. It really showcases the amazing setup and operation of the ZS6 contesting team throughout the event. I gotta say, when I saw all those antenna setups, I felt quite stupid with my little linked dipole. Anyway, it is most impressive. You've got to check out that video. Right, if you'd like to contribute to Club News this morning, please call in now on 2 meters. But we're going to start with Mark, ZS6AMF. Please take round.
ZS6STN, ZS6AMF. Good morning, Stuart. How are you doing today? It's actually great to hear your voice and well-received broadcast here in Johannesburg. The South African National Field Day was an amazing event, I'm not going to lie. I mean, the guys setting up those antennas all around the field at the Sleepy River Caravan Park was something to behold. It's just the scope that these guys actually do, the antenna setups and everything, and it was just beyond words. We also had a nice new antenna there, which was the brainchild of Matthew and Brandon, ZS6MDV and ZS6 Lima Zulu, which was the Project Honeycomb antenna. And we had a bit of a touch and go at one point, but no, we got it up and we used it, and it was fantastic. I mean, the QSOs that the guys did across the world and everything else was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you guys can go and see it in the YouTube video that Stuart actually mentioned just now. Phenomenal events. The guys put in a lot of hard work. I mean, there was also a lot of technology involved. That was done by Justin, Zulu Sierra 6, Julia Golf Papa, sorry. And we were able to do our QSOs via the online system, and we were able to log everything. And this time, actually, which was quite nice, we were able to record QSOs as well, which was fantastic. But all in all, a fantastic outing, a fantastic weekend, and the guys did a phenomenal job. Back to you, ZS6STN from ZS6 Alpha Mike Foxtrot.
ZS6AMF is ZS6STN. Thanks very much, Mark, for that feedback. Most impressive. Right, is there anyone else there? I'm sure Keith is. ZS6STN is now listing on 2 meters for further news on our club.
ZS6 Hotel India.
ZS6HI, ZS6STN, please take a round.
Good morning, Stuart. Bulletin perfectly received at my QTH, so thank you very much for that. Yeah, Mark gave you a little bit of field day insights, and that video that he made on the expedition is awesome. So do go and have a look. And what he failed to mention, well, he has done it on the WhatsApp channel, but that's been well received overseas as well. They've been watching our field day events on the video, which is awesome. But yes, a little bit of other things on the field day. Some of the guys went out on the Thursday, and they had a nice social on Thursday evening and Friday morning. And then when the time came for it to start setting up the antennas, that started on Friday. I wasn't there early in the morning, but I understood that the rain was drizzling a little bit, and the guys still went ahead and put up all the antennas. And as Mark has mentioned, Project Honeycomb was one of the new arrows in the quiver in the arsenal, and that unfortunately did have a pole collapse, but they managed to do the repairs on site, so well done to the team for doing that. Then the rain stayed away, which is quite awesome. On the Saturday, we had a fairly hot day out at Sleepy River Caravan Park. and it got quite warm under the gazebos. I think we were hitting 31 to 33 degrees centigrade under the gazebos, and the rain stayed away. Then on Sunday, we almost made it to the end of the contest without rain. It started drizzling just before 12 o'clock on the Sunday afternoon, very light drizzle, and then obviously once the contest ended at 12, we proceeded to pack up all the antennas and drive home that afternoon. So very well done to the ZS6STN contest team. And we had a few visitors out there, which was awesome too. And ZS6AMF, he made stickers for all of us, stickers for the participants and stickers for the visitors, for to put on our go boxes and our radios and our laptops and so on. So thank you very much for doing that. And the new awesome gazebo that is branded in ZS6STN logo and ZS6STN Curiosity finds a frequency. Curiosity, excuse me, getting my tongue twisted here. Finds a frequency was all over the place with the gazebo and the flags that were flying and the pop-up banners. So well done to Mark for all of the marketing material. Then just talking about the RAE, Gerrit and the team are continuously pumping with the RAE, and I know that the guys are getting ready for their exam. It's getting closer and closer now, and we wish all of them good studies and good luck for that exam when it comes up. I think it's towards the latter half of April, and I know that the HF assessments have all been done, so I don't believe there's going to be a second HF assessment this time around, but we could use that slot for something else. I saw some communication on that, so we'll see what we're going to do on the RAE, but thank you to all the lecturers and coordinators and students. It's an awesome group of students on the RAE. Then on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday evening, as Stuart has mentioned, is the Power Hour Tech Talk on DMR, and we would like as many amateurs to be involved as possible, or just interested parties. You don't have to be an amateur to be listening to the DMR presentation or the Power Hour Tech Talks. Please do join us on Wednesday evening at 7 in the evening on Zoom, and or listening in on one of the repeater networks, because that's going to be quite an interesting presentation. We heard about D-Star, and now we're going to hear about DMR. And so you can get your quiver full of interesting knowledge and another rabbit hole to go down, which is quite fascinating in terms of all these different technologies that are available to us as amateurs. And DMR is being a digital mode, voice, digital mode with other facilities as well. It's also got a great range, which is very interesting. So go and listen in. We've got a DMR repeater on top of the ZS6STN iSight, so that's easy for you to get connected to. And finally, on Saturday the 4th of April, yes, I know it's Easter weekend and I have been picked out for it already, so my apologies for that. But on Saturday the 4th of April, at Easter weekend, you should all be having a good Easter weekend, so why not get your radio out and participate in the QRP contest. So that'll be you'll see, watch the advertisements that come out for the QRP contest, but as normal, that is hosted by ZS6STN, and we would like as many amateurs out there playing radio during the QRP contest as possible. It's a 2-hour window. I think it's an afternoon slot this particular time, so you've got plenty of time to have a sleep in on Saturday morning and get your radio gear ready and then get to some site, or do it from your QTH or wherever you would like to be. Remember that if you'd like to involve a buddy, it's always more fun with a buddy, then get them involved as well and share the radio wherever you might be to participate in the QRP contest, and let's see what your 5 to 10 watts or 1 watt for that matter can do for you. It's amazing that we want to always use high power, but we can actually make the contacts using low power as well, so without straining, which is pretty awesome. And as Brendan, ZS6 Lima Zulu, mentioned, the future of amateur radio is out there in the field, so maybe you can get to your local park, activate your QRP contest from a local park with a friend or two over a picnic lunch. Well, why not? Thank you, Stuart. I think that's all from myself. ZS6STN, ZS6HI.
ZS6HI, ZS6STN. Thanks very much, Keith, for that update. Is there anyone else there who'd like to give us some club news? ZS6STN is now listening on 2 meters.
ZS6DX, just some update quickly.
Thanks, Noel. ZS6DX, please take a round.
ZS6DX returning, Stuart. They are like you as well. Okay, just to let you know, there's only been 6 registrations for the Sandton Amateur Radio Club for the RAE so far. And RAE date is, I think the closing date is either the 16th or 17th of April, so not that long to go for that, less than 4 weeks to go to the closing date. And so I'm asking anyone that's involved with RAE, we've got the 2 bench-nulls, we've got Lombard, McQuick, and the 2 Nikas. That's all we've got that has been registered, so none of the other candidates have registered so far. So guys, if you know, please get your candidates to register on the site and upload all their documents in PDF format if you don't mind, please. Okay, that's all from me, Stuart. So back to you. ZS6STN 2 meters operated by ZR1 Whiskey Tango from ZR6DX.
ZR6 Delta X-ray ZS6STN. Thanks, Noel, for that update on RAE. This is ZS6STN. We are now moved to the special topic of interest. So today, I thought I would talk about a personal space weather station. Not a weather station, but a space weather station. So this sits right at the intersection of amateur radio and real science, building your own personal space weather station, or PSWS. Now we will talk about space weather, where we really talking about how the sun interacts with the Earth, solar flares, geomagnetic storms, and the resulting effects on the ionosphere. And as radio amateurs, we experience this directly every time the band opens or suddenly dies. What's interesting is that with relatively simple equipment, we can actually measure these effects, not just observe them casually, but collect meaningful data. A PSWS typically consists of 4 main components, each looking at different parts of the system. So firstly, there's the HF Doppler monitoring, or GRAPE. GRAPE stands for GPS Receivers for Analyzing Precipitation of Energetic Particles. This is based on monitoring very stable HF transmitters, such as WWV, WWVH, and CHU. The idea is simple in concept but powerful in practice. These stations transmit extremely accurate carriers, and if the ionosphere were perfectly stable, the received frequency would be perfectly constant, but it isn't. The ionosphere is constantly changing, expanding, contracting, and shifting. That changes the effective path length of the signal. And when the path length changes, we see tiny shifts in frequency, i.e. the Doppler shift. And by tracking the Doppler shift very precisely, we can detect traveling ionospheric disturbances, solar flare effects, wave-like structures moving through the ionosphere. This is effectively a phase-coherent measurement, meaning we are detecting extremely small changes, often corresponding to just meters of path change over thousands of kilometers. Now there is a catch here in South Africa. Those stations I mentioned, WWV, WWVH, and CHU, are all in North America or Hawaii. From here, the signals arrive very long, multi-hop paths, and they're often weak and unstable and subject to heavy fading. So while we can sometimes receive them, they're generally not reliable enough for this continuous precision Doppler work. So what can we use instead? We have a few practical alternatives. Strong regional HF broadcast transmitters, for example in Madagascar, Ascension Island, and Eswatini. And then there's the amateur radio beacons, such as the IARU and NCDX-F beacon network. The beacon in South Africa is ZS6STN. ZS6STN, and it's located in Pretoria, grid square Kilo Golf 33XI. Or the most effective approach is to build your own GPS disciplined HF beacon. This last option is particularly powerful. A simple low power carrier, e.g. 5 to 20 watts, locked to a GPS reference gives you a known stable signal over a controlled path. And that in many ways is much better than relying on distant international transmitters. So of course you'd have to arrange for this transmitter to be at some friend's house hundreds of kilometers away. So I'm in George, so I will probably build one and put it in Joburg somewhere, and a friend in Cape Town. So I have like two paths. Anyway, I'm just thinking ahead now. Right, the second part of your PSWS is whisper monitoring. This component is based on, of course, the whisper system, and many of you already use whisper. This gives us a completely different type of data: signal to noise ratio, frequency drift, and which paths are open or closed. Unlike grape, which is very precise but along a single path, whisper is global, distributed, and statistical. It tells you what is happening across the entire ionosphere, not just along one path. For example, a sudden drop in whisper activity across a band can indicate decreased D-layer absorption. Changes in reported frequencies can hint at ionospheric motion. It's less precise than Doppler, but far broader in coverage. The third aspect of your space weather station is a ground magnetometer. This third component is a ground-based magnetometer. This measures tiny changes in the Earth's magnetic field, typically in the nanotesla range. But why does that matter? Because space weather is ultimately driven by the interaction between the solar wind and the Earth's magnetic sphere. When a geomagnetic storm hits, current flow in the upper atmosphere, magnetic fields fluctuate, and your magnetometer picks up that directly. This is different from the previous two systems. Grape and whisper measure effects on the ionosphere. A magnetometer measures the underlying driver. Then fourthly, VLF receivers. This fourth component, which is a very low frequency receiver, this operates in the 3 to 30 kilohertz range and monitors powerful transmitters or natural signals. VLF signals reflect off the D layer, which is the lowest part of the ionosphere. This layer reacts quickly to solar radiation. So with a VLF receiver you can detect solar flares almost instantly, sudden ionospheric disturbances, and day-night transitions. In fact, VLF is often the early warning system in your station. Putting it all together, now we'll have a real power. Now the real power of PSWS comes from when you combine these systems. For example, a solar flare occurs, VLF shows an immediate disturbance, HF Doppler shows a shift in the path length, and whisper shows band degradation. Or a geomagnetic storm arrives. The magnetometer shows strong activities, HF propagation becomes unstable, and whisper paths become erratic. Each instrument is looking at a different layer. VLF is the D layer. HF Doppler is the F layer dynamics. Whisper overall propagation, and the magnetometer is the geomagnetic input. Together they give you a layered view of space weather. A realistic PSWS in South Africa. Given our location, a practical setup would be a whisper receiver, easier and already widely used. A VLF receiver, simple wire antenna with a sound card-based system. A magnetometer, increasingly available as DIY modules. And for the Doppler work, either use a strong regional HF signal or build your own GPS-disciplined beacon system. Power levels for such beacons are surprisingly low, on the order of 1 watt or less, or often sufficient for regional paths. Conclusion: a space weather station turns amateur radio into a measurement science. Instead of just asking why is 20 meters dead today, you can start answering: is it the D layer absorption, is it the F layer moving, or is it the geomagnetic activity? And importantly, you can record and analyze it over time. From South Africa, we can't rely on classic WWV style systems, but with a bit of ingenuity, we can build our own little beacon, and which is capable in some ways even better suited to our environment. That is the concept of the personal space weather station, and it can be built around a Raspberry Pi. I will provide further information on a detailed how to build to Mark, ZS6AMF, so they can either place this information as a description in the news bulletin on YouTube, this news bulletin, or maybe a section in ZS6STN's website, where we already have an article by Chris, HF radio wave propagation in a nutshell. So I think this would go hand in hand, and it can be built on a Raspberry Pi, which always excites me. Right, I hope you enjoyed that. Is there anyone who'd like to comment on this article? This is ZS6STN listening.
ZS6STN, ZS6AMF.
ZS6AMF, please go ahead.
ZS6STN, ZS6AMF. Yeah, no, you've actually piqued my curiosity now, Stuart. Thank you for that. I'm actually busy researching right now on the web to see what I can find to maybe build one of these. I'm actually very interested in trying to see what's going on here, but thanks for that. I think I've got my new project for the next couple of weeks, months I should say. Thanks for that. ZS6STN, ZS6AMF.
ZS6AMF, ZS6STN returning. Great stuff, Mark. Great to hear that. We'll have to compare notes. So the stuff I've sent you, at the bottom you'll see I got it via ChatGPT on how to build one. So it's quite useful. It gives you lots of links to websites and what to do. Right, I'm going to close down ZS6STN this morning. Thank you to everyone who is out there listening. We trust that you've enjoyed the bulletin today. Please feel free to give comments or any constructive criticism. Thank you to the stations that assisted with relays and broadcasting, and to those who contribute to the content from time to time. Join us again next Sunday at 8:45 a.m. for the regular bulletin of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club. This ends the weekly club bulletin for the Sandton Amateur Radio Club. ZS6STN, which today was operated from the shack of Stuart ZR1WT. Thank you again to all the listeners, and 73. ZS6STN now relinquishes all frequencies for general use.